is a deep, unshakable power in knowing your worth. When someone chooses to walk away from you, especially for another person, it is not a loss. It is not a reflection of your value. It is the divine redirection. If a man chooses another woman over you, do not chase, do not beg, and do not question your own beauty, intelligence, or spirit. Instead, stand tall, breathe deeply, and trust that you are being led to something greater. Because, my dear, you do not lose, you win. Rejection can feel like the deepest wound, a personal attack on our worth, our beauty, our love, and our efforts. But what if I told you that rejection is not something happening to you, but something happening for you? What if instead of seeing it as loss, you saw it as protection? What if you believed, deep in your heart, that the universe has just done you the greatest favor, even if you can't see it yet? When someone chooses another person over you, it can feel like a crushing blow. Your mind might spiral into endless questions. What does she have that I don't? Was I not enough? Could I have done something differently? These thoughts are natural, but they are also illusions. The truth is, nothing about their choice defines you. It is simply a reflection of who they are and where they are on their own journey. Some people are not capable of recognizing the depth of love you offer. Some people are not ready for the kind of connection you bring. And some people are simply too lost in their own confusion to see what is right in front of them. Rejection is often a form of redirection. It is the universe whispering, "Not this way, my love, not this person, not this path." At first, it may not make sense. The pain may cloud your vision, making you believe that what you lost was the best thing for you. But in time, clarity comes. One day, you will look back and understand why it had to happen this way. You will see how being left, being overlooked, being abandoned was actually a divine intervention, a necessary step in guiding you to something far better. Think about the times in your life when you desperately wanted something to work out, only to later realize it wasn't meant for you. Maybe you prayed for a relationship to last, only to look back and see that it was built on shaky foundations. Maybe you begged for someone to love you, only to realize later that they never truly saw you for who you are. If you reflect deeply, you'll find that every rejection has led to something greater. Every heartbreak has carved space for a new, more beautiful love. Every closed door has protected you from walking into something that was never meant for your highest good. When a person chooses someone else over you, it does not mean they have found someone better. It simply means they have chosen a different experience. And sometimes that experience is one they need to have in order to grow. If they cannot see your worth now, forcing them to stay will not change that. Love is not about convincing someone to choose you. Love is about standing in your power and allowing the right person to recognize your value without hesitation. Imagine a woman standing in front of a closed door, knocking and knocking, hoping someone will open it. She doesn't realize that just down the hallway another door stands wide open, leading to a room filled with light, warmth, and love. But she is too focused on the closed door to see it. That is what happens when we hold on to people who have already chosen to walk away. We fixate on the loss, blind to the blessings waiting for us. We cry over someone who has left, when someone better, someone who will cherish us, is just around the corner. Rejection protects us from settling for less than we deserve. It prevents us from clinging to relationships that would only drain us in the long run. It stops us from staying in places where we are not fully valued. What feels like heartbreak today may be the very thing that saves you from years of unnecessary pain. You do not need to fight for a love that is real. You do not need to prove your worth to someone who was never capable of seeing it. When a man chooses another woman, let him go. Let him walk his path and trust that yours is leading you somewhere even more beautiful. Hold your head high, knowing that the love you are meant for will never require you to question yourself. It will never make you feel like you are in competition. It will never leave you doubting your worth. One day you will see why this had to happen. One day you will thank the universe for protecting you from a love that was not truly yours. And when that day comes, you will realize that you never lost anything. You only gained yourself. There is nothing more powerful than a person who knows their worth and refuses to compromise it. When someone chooses another person over you, the immediate temptation is to fight, to prove yourself, to ask why. You may feel an instinct to plead, to show them what they are losing, to convince them that they are making a mistake. But in doing so, you risk losing the most valuable thing you have, your dignity. Dignity is not something you beg for. It is something you embody. It is the quiet strength of knowing that you do not need to chase or persuade someone to see your value. It is the ability to stand tall, even in heartbreak, and trust that the right people will never put you in a position where you have to compete for their love. When a man chooses another woman, the worst thing you can do is lower yourself in an attempt to make him stay. The moment you beg for love, you have already lost. You have given your power away. You have placed your worth in the hands of someone who was willing to risk losing you in the first place. Love should never make you feel like you are an option. It should never make you feel as if you have to fight for someone's attention. The moment you feel yourself slipping into desperation, take a deep breath and remember, the person who truly loves you will never put you in a position where you have to question your place in their life. Walking away with your dignity intact is not about arrogance or pretending you don't care. It is about honoring yourself enough to know when to let go. It is about recognizing that if someone can so easily walk away from you, they were never truly yours to begin with. The right love does not waver. It does not need to be convinced. It does not need to be reminded of your worth. It sees it clearly and treasures it without hesitation. Think about the energy you put out into the world when you choose to keep your dignity. Instead of chasing, you stand still. Instead of proving, you simply exist in your power. Instead of lowering yourself to fit someone else's fleeting desires, you rise above the situation and trust that something greater is on its way. That energy is magnetic. It tells the universe, I am not desperate, I am not lacking, I am whole, and I will be loved for exactly who I am. And when you move through life with that mindset, the right people are drawn to you effortlessly. Contrast that with what happens when you chase someone who has already made their choice. When you beg or try to change their mind, you shift from being a person of value to someone who is grasping at something that is slipping away. And the harder you grasp, the further it moves from you. The moment someone senses that they have power over your emotions, they stop valuing you in the way you deserve. You become someone who can be taken for granted, someone who does not fully believe in their own worth. And that is not who you are meant to be. Keeping your dignity means choosing yourself, even when it hurts. It means swallowing the pain of rejection and turning it into fuel for your self-growth. It means saying, I refuse to fight for a seat at a table where I was never truly welcomed. It is understanding that if someone was willing to leave, then their absence is a gift, not a loss. Every time you choose your dignity over desperation, you become stronger. You send a message to yourself and to the world that you are not someone who settles. You are not someone who lingers where you are not valued. You are not someone who waits for another person to realize your worth. You know it already. And when you operate from that place of strength, you attract relationships that are built on respect, not uncertainty. One day you will look back at the moment when you chose to walk away instead of chase, and you will feel a deep sense of pride. You will be grateful that you did not waste your energy on someone who could not see you. You will understand that keeping your dignity was the best decision you ever made. And when the right person comes along, the one who chooses you without hesitation, without doubt, you will be thankful that you stood firm in your worth. Because in the end, you don't win by convincing someone to stay. You win by knowing that the right love will never require you to beg for it. And that is why keeping your dignity is the greatest victory of all. There is a moment after rejection when everything feels uncertain. You question your worth, replay conversations in your mind, and wonder if you could have done something differently. But in this moment of doubt, something powerful is happening. You are learning. You are gaining clarity. You are beginning to see who truly values you. It is easy to believe that love is about who we desire, who excites us, or who we think we are meant to be with. But true love, the kind that nourishes the soul and lasts, is built on something much deeper. It is built on mutual respect, appreciation, and genuine care. And often it takes rejection to show you who possesses those qualities and who does not. When someone chooses another person over you, it does not mean they have found someone better. It simply means they have made a choice that reflects their values, their priorities, and their understanding of love. This choice does not define your worth. It defines theirs. And when someone can so easily walk away, you must ask yourself, did they ever truly value me in the first place? The truth is, rejection reveals everything. It shows you who is willing to fight for you and who is willing to let you go. It shows you who sees your presence as a gift and who takes it for granted. It separates those who are only with you for convenience from those who genuinely cherish your existence. And this knowledge is a gift. Because when you finally understand who values you, you stop wasting your time on those who don't. So many people spend their lives chasing love from those who cannot truly love them. They bend, compromise, and shrink themselves, hoping to be enough for someone who was never meant to stay. But when you learn who values you, everything changes. You stop trying to force love where it does not exist. You stop begging for attention from people who are indifferent. You stop lowering your standards for those who are unwilling to meet you where you are. Instead, you redirect your energy toward the ones who do see you, the ones who do appreciate you, the ones who would never make you question your place in their life. Think about the times you have been there for others, when you have given your love freely, when you have shown up in ways that no one else did. If someone does not recognize the beauty of that, then their absence is not a loss. Their departure is simply making room for someone who will. One of the greatest lessons in life is understanding that love is not proven through words, but through actions. Anyone can say they care, but who stands by you when things get difficult? Who respects you even when emotions run high? Who chooses you over and over without hesitation? Those are the people who truly value you, and sometimes it takes heartbreak to reveal them. Often we are so fixated on what we lost that we do not see what we gained. A failed relationship may have saved you from years of emotional neglect. A betrayal may have exposed someone's true character before they could hurt you even more. Someone walking away may have been the very thing that set you free from settling for less than you deserve. You win because you learn. You learn that love is never about convincing someone to stay. It is about finding the person who wants to stay. You learn that the ones who truly value you will never put you in a position where you have to question your worth. You learn that every rejection is a blessing because it removes those who were never meant for you and clears the way for those who are. So instead of seeing heartbreak as a failure, See it as a filter. It is removing the people who were never truly for you. It is showing you with crystal clear clarity who was willing to let you go and who would never dare to. And when you finally meet the ones who do value you, you will understand why everyone else had to leave. You will realize that nothing was lost. Because in the end, the only people you need in your life are the ones who choose to be there. There are moments in life when you feel like everything is falling apart. Someone you love walks away, a door closes, or you face a challenge that shakes you to your core. In those moments, it is easy to feel defeated, to believe that life is unfair, and to wonder why you had to go through so much pain. But if you take a step back and truly look at yourself, you will realize something powerful. You are becoming stronger. Strength is not something you are born with. It is something you earn. It is built through every challenge, every disappointment, and every time you thought you couldn't go on, yet you did. It is in the moments when you wanted to give up, but you chose to keep going. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every setback has been shaping you, molding you into a person who cannot be broken. At first, pain feels like a punishment. It feels like the universe is testing you, trying to see how much you can handle. But what if you saw it differently? What if, instead of breaking you, life was building you? What if every hardship was making you stronger, wiser, and more resilient? Think about the times in your life when you faced something that felt impossible to overcome. Maybe it was a relationship that ended, a betrayal from someone you trusted, or a dream that didn't go the way you planned. At the time, it felt unbearable. You didn't know how you would move forward. But look at yourself now. You survived. You are still here. And not only did you survive, but you grew. You gained wisdom. You learned what you are capable of. That is what strength is. It is not about never feeling pain. It is about what you do with it. It is about using every hardship as fuel to become better. It is about refusing to let challenges define you in a negative way and instead allowing them to shape you into someone unstoppable. When a man walks away from you, you might feel like you lost, but you did not lose, you won. Because in that moment, you had the choice to crumble or to rise, and you chose to rise. You chose yourself. You chose to learn, to grow, and to become stronger than before. Strength is knowing that you do not need anyone else to complete you. It is understanding that your value does not decrease just because someone else failed to see it. It is looking in the mirror and saying, I am enough, with or without them. When someone walks away from you, it can feel like loss. It can feel like a door slamming shut, leaving you standing alone with unanswered questions and a heavy heart. But what if that door closing was not a loss, but a redirection? What if, instead of something being taken from you, space was being made for something greater? You win because you make room for true love. Too often we hold on to people who are not meant for us. We cling to relationships that drain us, to people who do not see our worth, to situations that do not honor our hearts. We tell ourselves that love should be fought for, that if we just try a little harder, if we just become what they want, maybe they will stay. But love should not feel like an uphill battle. Love should not require you to lose yourself in the process. When someone chooses another person over you, it does not mean you are not worthy of love. It simply means they were not the one who was meant to love you the way you deserve. And that is not rejection, it is protection. It is the universe removing someone who was never fully aligned with you so that you can finally make space for someone who is. Imagine holding a handful of stones, believing they are precious gems. You close your fist tightly, unwilling to let go, afraid of losing what you have, but in doing so, you block yourself from receiving the diamonds that are waiting for you. It is only when you finally release what is not meant for you that your hands become open to receive what truly is. Letting go is not losing, it is trusting. It is believing that something greater is on its way, even when you cannot yet see it. The truth is, true love does not require you to beg. It does not make you question your worth. It does not leave you feeling anxious, unwanted, or replaceable. True love chooses you, not just when it is convenient, not just when it is easy, but always. And sometimes the only way to find true love is by clearing away the false ones. You win because you stop settling. You stop investing in people who are unsure about you. You stop making excuses for those who cannot meet you at the level you deserve. You stop wasting your energy on relationships that leave you feeling empty so that you can finally open your heart to the kind of love that fills you. There is someone out there who will see you for who you are and never question whether or not they want to be with you. There is someone who will recognize your value immediately, who will cherish your presence, who will never put you in a position where you have to prove your worth. But you will never meet them if you are still holding on to the wrong one. Think of all the times in your life when you thought you had lost something, only to later realize that you had actually gained something better. That job you didn't get, the friendship that faded, the relationship that ended, all of it led you to something greater. And love is no different. The person who walked away made a choice, and so must you. Will you choose to hold on to someone who does not fully choose you? Or will you choose to believe that love, the kind of love you truly deserve, is still ahead of you? You win because you trust the process. You understand that love is not meant to be forced and that the right person will never need convincing. You win because you no longer accept less than what you deserve. You win because you open yourself up to something real, something lasting, something that feels like home. One day you will look back and be grateful that certain people left. You will understand that their exit was necessary to clear the way for the love that was always meant to find you. And when that love arrives, you will realize that you never truly lost. You were simply making room to win. There comes a moment in life when you realize that the most important decision you will ever make is to choose yourself. For so long, you may have poured your heart into people who didn't appreciate you, held on to relationships that drained you, and put others before yourself in the hopes that they would see your worth. But there is a deep truth that, once understood, changes everything. You win the moment you decide to choose yourself. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. It is the foundation of true happiness, self-respect, and inner peace. When you choose yourself, you are declaring to the world that you will no longer tolerate being treated as an afterthought. You are affirming that your needs, your dreams, and your well-being matter just as much as anyone else's. For too long, you may have been waiting for someone to choose you. You may have hoped that a partner would finally see your worth, that a friend would start treating you better, or that a family member would finally give you the love you always craved. But the most liberating truth is this: you do not need anyone else to choose you, because you can choose yourself. When you stop waiting for external validation and instead turn inward, something miraculous happens. You begin to see yourself in a new light. You start to understand that your value was never dependent on someone else's recognition. You realize that you are whole, just as you are, and that the only approval you truly need is your own. Choosing yourself means walking away from people who make you feel like you are hard to love. It means letting go of relationships that bring more pain than joy. It means no longer accepting breadcrumbs when you deserve the full feast. It is a declaration that you will not settle for anything less than what aligns with your highest self. At first, choosing yourself may feel uncomfortable. It may feel lonely. You may wonder if you made the right decision, if you should have tried harder, if maybe things could have worked out differently. But then, something shifts. You start to feel lighter. You begin to notice how much energy you were spending trying to keep people in your life who were never meant to stay. You realize that by letting go, you are making space for something better, whether it is deeper self-love, more fulfilling relationships, or the freedom to fully embrace who you are. When you choose yourself, you stop chasing people who do not see your worth. You stop explaining yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop shrinking to fit into places that were never meant for you. Instead, you stand tall. You walk away when necessary. You set boundaries and honor them. You become the kind of person who radiates self-respect, and in doing so, you attract relationships and opportunities that match your newfound energy. Life has a way of testing you. It will present situations that force you to decide whether you will keep sacrificing your own happiness for the sake of others, or if you will finally choose yourself. Every time you say no to something that does not serve you, you are saying yes to yourself. Every time you walk away from disrespect, you are reinforcing your worth. Every time you prioritize your peace, you are affirming that you deserve a life filled with love, joy, and authenticity. The beauty of choosing yourself is that it sets the standard for how others will treat you. When you respect yourself, others learn to respect you. When you love yourself, you attract people who truly love you. When you refuse to accept less than you deserve, you create a life that is rich in meaning and fulfillment. And here's the most powerful part. The moment you choose yourself, you never truly lose. You may let go of certain relationships, you may let go of certain connections, but what you gain in return is priceless. You gain freedom. You gain clarity. You gain a deep, unshakable sense of self-worth that no one can take away from you. One day you will look back at the moments when you doubted yourself, when you were afraid to walk away, when you hesitated to put yourself first, and you will be grateful that you finally found the courage to choose you, because that was the moment you truly won. Breathe in this truth. I am enough. I am whole. I am love itself. Let them go and watch as the universe brings you something even more beautiful. Because in the grand design of life, you never truly lose. You only rise. And that, my dear, is how you win.